Hello everybody and welcome to a very special episode of Learning with Chrono. Today's episode was prompted by an incident that happened today to a great guy, BOO. If you don't subscribe to him, I really recommend you do. He's a great builder, he's really good at commentary, makes great videos. Basically what happened was when he was doing his live stream today, he accidentally showed the IP address to the Minecraft FTB server. And it can happen. Mistakes happen. Sometimes you forget to hide the IP address in the Minecraft client. Sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes there's a mod that pops up with the IP address, like, say, Ray's Minimap, though I think they fixed that. It happens. It sucks, but it happens. Some asshole, and I believe this qualifies as the true definition of asshole, decided that it would be a good idea to DDoS the server. So now they have to fight with some guy that took down the server. And it sucks. Now, I can't do anything about that. As much as I wish I could, there's just only so much people can do about that kind of thing. However, I can help prevent it from happening in the future. And this can happen, and this can help anybody who's doing YouTube stuff, or even it can be applied to things outside of Minecraft and YouTube. Say, for example, you want to block a website like Facebook. You can do this trick and it will work as well. Just, you have to tell it to do things differently. So let me show you how to do this. What you got to do is you go to Start, Computer, and then the C drive, the system drive specifically. By default it's C, but sometimes in very rare cases it's not C. But by default it's C. Chances are if it's not C, then you already know what a system drive is and you don't need me explain it. Odds are, it's probably like a 99.9% chance you know what I'm talking about already. Okay, so we're in local disk C, we're in the system drive, and you can tell because there's a Windows directory. In the Windows directory, we go under System 32, then Drivers, then ETC. So I'll put this up here so you can see it a little clearer. Windows System 32 Drivers ETC. And you're looking for the file called hosts. Now there's no extension. This is just called hosts. Now by default in Windows 7, probably in Windows 8, possibly even in Windows Vista, I'm not sure, the host file is set to read-only mode, so you cannot edit it easily. What you have to do is you right-click on it, go to Properties, and down here where it says Attributes, uncheck the read-only option and hit OK. Now that's set to read-only so that it can't easily be edited by, say, malware trying to hijack your computer. And it's a good security feature, so when we're done, we will re-enable the read-only mode. But right now, we have to disable that so we can edit the file. And then you just right-click, you hit Open, and because there is no extension, there is no possible way to associate a default program, so you will always have to select Notepad and hit OK. And then we will see this. Now up here, where it has the pound signs in front of it, that just means that this section is commented it out, and it's just basically giving you a little description of how the host file works. And basically how it works is it takes an IP address, like say this one right here, and associates it with a user-friendly name, like localhost. This here is actually default setting in older versions of Windows. I know it started in Windows 7. They might have backpedaled it to Vista, but I know it started in Windows 7 that localhost is no longer controlled in the host file, is controlled in the central DNS server. But Yeah, it's still shown here as an example, and in older versions of Windows, it will actually show up down here as a default setting. Now leave that there. If it's there, leave it there. What you might also see is other things. If you have, say, Spybot Search and Destroy, for example, it has an immunization function, which will put a whole bunch, giant, hundreds-long list of known spam and malware URLs and associate it with this IP address. Now, this IP address is a loopback IP address. Basically, when, say, a malware gets into your computer and tries to contact one of their websites, it will automatically loop back in on itself and get no response. Thus, you're less likely to get worse infections. So, for example, if we're going to do this kind of thing, say the Facebook example that I gave earlier, if you're like on a work PC and you want to block Facebook or any other website, you type in 127.0.0.1, the loopback address, hit tab, and then say www.facebook.com. Okay? And then once you save this, anytime anybody goes to Facebook, which I can show right now, we go to File, Save. We open up our browser, and we go to www.facebook.com. And we get a connection error, because it cannot contact the server. What it's trying to do is trying to contact a web server on the IP address of 127.0.0.1. Well, I'm not running a web server on my local computer, so I don't get one. Now, this trick can also be used to hide IP addresses in the case that you're recording situations. And how you do that is basically the same. You type in the IP address of your server. In my case, I can show this IP address because it's a local IP address. And if anybody types it in, they're not going to get anything. My server's IP address is 192.168.10.15. Yours will be different. It'll have like 95 or 128, or it'll be different. It will not, it more than likely will not have the 192.168 number at the beginning. And more than likely, you will have a colon and a number. That is a port number. Don't worry about that right now. All we want is the 4 sets of number before the colon, if you have it. If you don't have it, then we want the entire thing. So we type in the IP address of our server, we hit tab, and then we type in a user-friendly name that we make up. Like, say, Shenaniderp. Okay? And don't do things like add a .com after it or anything like that. That can actually affect web browsing. Now, there is no Shenaniderp.com as far as I know, so right now if I type in Shenaniderp.com, it's not going to really hurt anything. But I wouldn't recommend doing it. Just leave it a simple one-word thing. That way you are significantly less likely to interfere with anything else. So we just go to File and Save. Then we go into our Minecraft or our FTB. And we launch it. Now we have Minecraft open, we go to multiplayer, and we see the server that I connect to. And we can see how mistakes can happen. I obviously have the IP address shown right here. Now if this was a public IP address, we would have to worry. Since it's local, I don't have to worry, but you might. Now we can change this by editing this and tell it to hide address yes. Then we hit done and it says hidden. Now that's cool and all, but say you have a mod that shows the IP address when you log in the text box, like the old version of Ray's Minimap did that. And we had that problem a lot. we would have to wait until that went away, and then we would have to flood the chat box to make that go away so we didn't see it if we hit T. Now, Ray's minimap doesn't do that anymore, but other mods might. You never know what's around the corner. So to protect against that, we set up that host file. So now all I have to do is hit add server, give it the information for the server name, and then for the server address, we type in the name that we just gave it in the host file. In this case, Shenaniderp. And then if you're one of those people that have a colon and then a number after your IP address, this is where you type in the colon and the number. In my case, it's 25566. Mine's simple. I host it locally. I don't have to worry about having a huge range of port numbers. And then from here, we just hit done, and we can see that it's already sensing it. And it's exactly the same as the one set by the IP address. And then from here, no matter what we do, we can connect into it. We can have special mods, that show the IP address. It doesn't matter, because as far as Minecraft knows, the address you're connecting to is just that word. Hi. And that's it. It is that simple. So I hope this helped out somebody out there. I hope this was informative. If you like this, please leave a like. Let me know in the comments. I love hearing responses. So I will say, as always, keep playing the game and have fun.